This food has more protein than eggs. Fight sarcopenia fast. Dr. Peter Attia. What if I told you there's a simple food sitting right in front of you that could be the key to staying strong and independent well into your 80s and 90s? This isn't some expensive supplement or miracle cure from a fancy lab. It's something that packs more muscle-building power than eggs, and it might just be the most overlooked weapon against the silent thief that steals our strength as we get older. Before we dive into this game-changing food, make sure to hit that like button if you want to stay strong and healthy as you age. And don't forget to subscribe because we're building a community of people who refuse to let aging slow them down. Drop a comment below and tell me about your biggest concern when it comes to staying strong as you get older. Here's the scary truth most people don't realize. Starting in your 40s, you begin losing muscle mass every single year. It happens so slowly you barely notice at first. Maybe you feel a little more tired walking upstairs in your 50s, or you struggle a bit more to open that stubborn jar in your 60s. But by the time you really notice what's happening, you've already lost a significant amount of the muscle that keeps you independent and healthy. This muscle loss has a name, sarcopenia, and it's not just about looking weaker or feeling less energetic. When you lose muscle, you're actually losing one of your body's most important organs. Yes, you heard that right. Muscle isn't just for moving around or looking good. It's a metabolic powerhouse that helps control your blood sugar, keeps your balance steady, protects you from dangerous falls, and even helps fight off diseases like diabetes. Why your body works against you as you age. Let me explain something that might shock you. As you get older, your body develops what scientists call anabolic resistance. This fancy term basically means your muscles become stubborn. The same amount of protein that you used to build and maintain your muscles when you were 25 only does half the job when you're 65. Think of it like this. Imagine your muscles have a doorbell, and protein is the person trying to ring it. When you're young, a gentle press gets the door to open right away. But as you age, that doorbell gets harder to press. You need to push it much harder and longer to get the same response. This is why the old recommendations for protein intake are actually dangerous for older adults. The standard recommendation of 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight isn't just outdated. It's setting you up for muscle loss and weakness. That recommendation was designed to prevent deficiency, not to help you thrive and stay strong. Multiple studies have now proven that adults over 50 need much more protein, somewhere between 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight every day. And here's the crucial part. This protein can't just be eaten all at once. It needs to be spread throughout the day to keep that muscle-building signal turned on. Let me give you a real example. If you weigh 150 pounds, that's about 68 kilograms, you need between 82 and 109 grams of protein every day. Split that across 3 meals, and you're looking at about 27 to 36 grams of protein per meal. But here's where it gets tricky. Not all protein is created equal. The hidden power of leucine. Inside every protein source, there are building blocks called amino acids. One of these amino acids, called leucine, is like the master switch for muscle building. You need about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine in each meal to flip that switch and tell your muscles to start building and repairing themselves. Here's the problem. Most people, especially at breakfast, don't even come close to hitting this target. A bowl of oatmeal with some nuts, maybe 10 grams of protein, and less than a gram of leucine. A single egg on toast, still not enough. You're basically eating meals that look healthy, but don't actually trigger the muscle-building process your body desperately needs. This is where most people go wrong. They think they're eating enough protein because they had some chicken at dinner or grabbed a protein bar as a snack. But if you're not hitting that leucine threshold at each meal, you're missing out on the muscle-building opportunities your body is giving you 3 times a day. Why muscle is your metabolic superhero? Before I reveal the surprising food that beats eggs, let me help you understand why preserving muscle is so critical for your long-term health. Your muscles do far more than just help you lift things or walk around. They're actually working 24/7 as your body's sugar processing plant. About 70 to 80% of the sugar you eat gets taken up by your muscles. The more muscle you have and the healthier that muscle is, the better your body handles carbohydrates and maintains steady blood sugar levels. When you lose muscle, you lose this incredible metabolic machinery, which is why muscle loss often leads to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. But that's not all. Your muscles also act like a hormone factory, releasing special messenger molecules called myokines when you use them. These molecules travel throughout your body, reducing inflammation, improving brain function, and even helping convert unhealthy fat into the kind that actually burns calories. A major study that followed over 3,000 older adults found something remarkable. Those who maintained the most muscle mass lived longer and stayed healthier, regardless of their overall body weight. It wasn't about being skinny. It was about having functional, metabolically active muscle tissue. This completely changes how we should think about our bodies as we age. Your muscle mass isn't vanity. It's your insurance policy against frailty, falls, fractures, and metabolic disease. Every pound of muscle you preserve or build is like putting money in a health savings account for your future self. The surprising food that outshines eggs. Now, let's talk about that food I promised to reveal. For years, eggs have been called the perfect protein, and they deserve a lot of that praise. They contain all 9 essential amino acids. They're easily digested, and they're relatively affordable. A large egg gives you about 6 grams of protein with a decent amino acid profile. But here's the catch. To hit that crucial leucine threshold I mentioned earlier, you need to eat 4 or 5 eggs in a single meal. That's doable. But it's not practical for everyone, especially if you're trying to watch your cholesterol or just don't want to eat that many eggs every day. The food that consistently outperforms eggs in study after study is whey protein. Now, before you roll your eyes and think I'm about to sell you some expensive powder, hear me out. Whey isn't just a supplement. It's actually a food that exists in the space between whole foods and clinical intervention. Whey protein comes from milk during the cheese-making process. It would otherwise be thrown away, so using it actually helps reduce food waste. What makes whey special is its incredibly high leucine content and how quickly your body can absorb and use it. A typical 25-gram scoop of whey protein isolate contains about 2.7 grams of leucine, just enough to cross that threshold we talked about for triggering muscle protein synthesis in older adults. Compare that to the 0.5 grams of leucine in one egg, and you can see why whey is so much more efficient. The research backing whey protein is impressive. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition compared different protein sources. In elderly men, the group that consumed 20 grams of whey protein after exercise showed significantly greater muscle protein synthesis compared to those who had casein or soy protein. But here's what really matters. A comprehensive analysis of studies in 2018 looked at older adults who use whey protein alongside resistance training. Compared to control groups, the people using whey didn't just build more muscle. They got stronger, moved better, and maintained their independence longer. That's the real goal here, not just bigger muscles, but a better quality of life. If you're finding this information helpful, take a second to hit that subscribe button. We're creating content for people who want real, science-based strategies for aging well, and your support helps us reach more people who need this information. The exercise connection you cannot ignore. Here's something crucial to understand. Even the perfect protein intake won't do much without the right kind of exercise signal. This is where resistance training becomes absolutely essential, not optional, for healthy aging. When you challenge your muscles with resistance, whether that's lifting weights, using resistance bands, or even doing bodyweight exercises, you trigger a cascade of cellular events that prime your muscles to respond to the protein you eat. Exercise essentially turns up the volume on your muscle-building machinery. This synergy between protein and resistance exercise is especially important for overcoming that anabolic resistance we talked about earlier. That protein shake or high leucine meal will have a much stronger muscle-building effect when it follows a workout than when you drink it while sitting on the couch. The good news is that you don't need to become a bodybuilder or spend hours in the gym. A comprehensive review of studies found that resistance training just twice a week led to measurable improvements in strength, muscle mass, and physical function in older adults. Even people in their 80s and 90s saw significant benefits. What should this look like in practice? Focus on compound movements, exercises that work multiple muscle groups at once, like squats, lunges, push-ups, and rows. These movements mimic real-life activities and give you the most bang for your buck. Start with 2 to 3 sessions per week, aiming for 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions per exercise. If you're new to this or haven't exercised in years, don't worry. You can start with bodyweight exercises next to the kitchen counter for support, or even lifting soup cans or water bottles. The key is that it must be deliberate, challenging, and progressive. You need to gradually increase the difficulty over time to keep your muscles adapting. How to structure your daily protein strategy. Let's get practical about how to put all this knowledge into action. The goal is to create a simple, sustainable system that ensures you're getting enough high-quality protein distributed throughout the day to maintain and build muscle. Here's what an ideal day might look like. Morning. Start with a protein-rich breakfast that includes at least 30 grams of high-quality protein. This could be Greek yogurt with a scoop of whey protein and berries, or scrambled eggs with cottage cheese. The key is hitting that leucine threshold first thing in the morning to start your muscle-building processes early. Midday. Aim for another 30 to 40 grams of protein at lunch. This might be a chicken breast with quinoa and vegetables, or a plant-based option, like lentils with hemp seeds and nutritional yeast. The goal is consistency. Every meal should send that muscle-building signal. Evening. Your dinner should also include 30 to 40 grams of protein. This could be salmon with sweet potato and greens, or a plant-based meal combining beans, grains, and seeds to create a complete amino acid profile. The timing matters too. Studies show that spreading your protein intake evenly across 3 meals leads to 25% greater muscle protein synthesis over 24 hours compared to eating most of your protein at dinner, which is what most people do. For those following plant-based diets, this is absolutely achievable with some planning. Soy products, quinoa, hemp seeds, nutritional yeast, and high-quality plant protein powders can all help you reach these targets. You might need slightly larger portions or smart food combinations, but it's definitely doable. The complete longevity protocol. Now, let's put everything together into a comprehensive but simple system for preserving muscle and maintaining strength as you age. This isn't about perfection. It's about consistency and making smart choices that compound over time. Protein strategy. Aim for 3 protein-rich meals per day, each containing 30 to 40 grams of high-quality protein, with at least 2.5 grams of leucine. Use whey protein strategically to fill gaps, especially at breakfast where most people fall short. Resistance training. 2 to 3 sessions per week focusing on compound movements. Keep it simple with 5 to 6 exercises, 2 to 3 sets each, 8 to 12 repetitions per set. Rest 60 to 90 seconds between sets. Total time commitment, 30 to 40 minutes, 2 to 3 times per week. Cardiovascular health. Include 2 to 4 sessions per week of moderate aerobic activity, brisk walking, cycling, or swimming at intensity where you can still talk but not sing. This supports your mitochondria and overall metabolic health. Recovery and sleep. Your body builds muscle during recovery, not during exercise. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night, manage stress levels, and ensure adequate hydration. Poor sleep can reduce protein utilization, even when you hit your protein targets. Monitoring and adjustment. Track your meals for a week or 2 using a basic app to calibrate your understanding of portion sizes and protein content. Most people are surprised by how little protein they're actually getting, especially at breakfast. Strategic supplementation. While food should be your primary focus, a few supplements have strong research support for muscle maintenance in older adults. Whey protein for convenience and leucine content. Creatine monohydrate, 5 grams daily, for strength and cognitive benefits, and vitamin D if you're deficient. Pay attention to how your body responds. Notice your energy levels, how you feel after meals, your recovery from workouts, and your overall sense of strength and confidence. Then ask yourself, what would it look like if I made this a permanent part of my life instead of just a week-long experiment? This is a fundamental question that separates those who age well from those who don't. It's not about quick fixes or dramatic transformations. It's about building sustainable habits that protect and preserve your most valuable asset, your functional capacity. The choice is yours. Everything we discuss today comes down to a simple choice. Are you going to treat your muscle mass as something nice to have, or as the essential organ of longevity it truly is? Are you going to accept muscle loss as an inevitable part of aging, or are you going to fight back with the tools that science has proven actually work? The research is clear. Sarcopenia isn't inevitable. It's preventable and even reversible with the right approach. You don't need to train like an athlete or eat like a bodybuilder. You just need to be intentional about nourishing and challenging your muscles in ways that align with how your body actually works. Your future self, the person you'll be in 10, 20, or 30 years, is counting on the decisions you make today. Every protein-rich meal you eat, every time you challenge your muscles with resistance, every night you prioritize sleep over late-night scrolling, you're investing in that person's independence, strength, and quality of life. If this resonates with you, I want you to be part of this community. Hit that like button to let me know this information was valuable. Subscribe so you don't miss future content about aging intelligently. And drop a comment below telling me what your biggest takeaway was from today's discussion. Remember, the goal isn't to live longer just for the sake of more years. It's to live better, stronger, and more independently for all the years you have. That starts with understanding that your body is adaptive at any age, and with the right inputs, quality protein, progressive resistance, adequate recovery, you can influence your trajectory in profound ways. The choice is yours. Your muscles are waiting for the signal. What are you going to tell them?